So maybe just start out with what I want to cover. Now this is, for me, this talk is very much a personal talk, in the sense that I am speaking from my own personal experience of my embracing Islam, and then the choices I made in my life in order to try to actualize my initial intentions, either in my relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal, which were those ideas I developed in myself before I embraced Islam, and then the ideals that I have placed before myself in my own journey as being a Muslim for the past 33 years. And the things I want to cover very briefly, and the way I'm approaching this is I want to talk about my journey a little bit, so you can understand and contextualize where I'm coming from. And then from that, I want to talk about some ideas that I think are important for me, maybe some significance to you, I don't know. One would be the idea of the purification of the self, nafs, within the context of the Sharia. I want to talk about the idea of ikhlas, but ikhlas from a perspective of the great Mujaddid of India, Officer Hindi, Suruhu. Those would be the things I want to cover tonight. And then tomorrow, I want to talk about the idea of the Muhammadan reality, the Muhammadiyya. I want to talk about the idea of kamalat, or states of wholeness and perfection. And I want to talk about qurba, or wilayat, the ideas of nearness and being under divine tutelage, under divine protection. And then sort of like a, what I call the upshot, what were these discussions about at the end of the day. So, and I will be referencing this book. I'll read from it. I may read from it. These were the collected letters of Ahmed Sirhindi, who died in 1624 in Sirhind in the Punjab in India. He is one of the important mashayikh of our silsila, our spiritual lineage. And I was very fortunate in my 10 years I spent in Turkey to read his letters under the guidance of our spiritual guide in Turkey, and one of his principal students, Arun Ali Hoja, and mercy on him. And I think I'm probably one of the few people in the West who actually read these letters. I think they're important, but you can maybe explore that on your own. If I'm not clear with something, you can just stop me, and I will address you in your point of ambiguity. Don't think that you can't interrupt me. You're more than welcome to interrupt me. It's good to know I see somebody with notes and paper, because this is a religion of knowledge. It's a religion of the column, awraq, and paper, and we have to be people of knowledge. So about myself, I grew up just on the road, sort of. I grew up in Indiana, just west of Dayton, west of Richmond, Indiana, in Henry County. And I was born in Tennessee. My parents are both my mother's from West Virginia, my dad's from originally Kentucky, but decided to move to Tennessee somewhere probably in the 1950s, maybe 1940s. If you know anything about this Midwest region, here in Cincinnati, up towards Dayton, towards Richmond, Kokomo, Anderson, Indiana, and that area. In the early to mid-1960s, there was a lot of migration from people from southern Kentucky and northern Tennessee, the Cumberland Plateau region. They moved to these regions to work in the factories. You'll find that part of east central Indiana, towards Dayton, a lot of people who have roots in Kentucky and Tennessee. And my parents were a part of that migration. And people looking for jobs, getting out of the small towns. And my mom grew up in a coal mining village town in Drift, Kentucky. My grandfather died of black lung. she grew up very poor. And then going to her, well, she grew up in Kentucky, was the Appalachia. So I grew up in Indiana, and I went mostly on a farm. My parents, we moved a couple of times, but they're on a farm. We lived in Newcastle, Indiana. I graduated from high school in 1982 from the Christ High School in Newcastle. And when I was in school, I was very interested in religion, but I was raised nominally as a Southern Baptist, and I was baptized when I was very young. And when I was about 13, I left the Baptist church. I used to go to church. We used to take a Sunday school bus to church. And then I stopped going when I was about 13. I changed to a Wesleyan church. And then I just stopped going. I believed in God, but I really didn't have any specific theological convictions towards Jesus. But I was very interested in philosophy and theology and these ideas and poetry. And so when I was growing up, I guess the best way to sort of explain who I was in a nutshell, if you want to understand who I am, when I was graduating high school, we had these senior class surveys, and in my senior class survey, in my yearbook, there were people, someone who's going to become a president, who will become a movie star, who will become an athlete, who will marry so-and-so. Well, two of the questions were who would become a philosopher and who would blow up the world, and I was voted first place on both of those by my senior class. So that's really a good lead-in when I go to speak at churches that's why I became a Muslim cleric. I can be a philosopher and strap a bomb on, I suppose. That would make people think that's what I should be doing. I was once on a plane on a Delta Airlines spotted by a stewardess. You're not one of those terrorists, are you? I said no. But I did see a person with a cross up there, and I think he's intent on blowing up an abortion clinic. But, that was my answer to her. So one has to have wit and humor to maintain one's sanity in every Islam, perhaps. I don't know. But, when people go to football games, I would go to the library. I took German very seriously in school, and I read Franz Kafka. I read, his Entwicklung, the Metamorphosis, in German when I was in high school, and I was reading, Plato's Republic and Bacon and Locke when I was in high school. That was what I did. I wrote poetry, and I grew orchids and had my own greenhouse, and I was just this really weird kid. I went to, but when it came to college time, my parents wanted me to go to medicine, and I got accepted to Earlham College in Richmond, which had a good free med program, but I didn't want to do medicine. My wife probably wishes I had done that, but I wanted to do entomology, which is the science of insects. I was very interested in insects, and you might laugh at that. So I went to Purdue. I had a very good program for entomology, and I specialized in insect physiology and biochemistry. When I was at Purdue, my freshman year, when I was in Germany, I had to explain what freshman year meant, but I don't have to explain freshman year here. I had a general biology class, and in that class was a girl from Iran. She was in my study group. We had a mandatory lab. They put us in groups of 5, and she was from Tehran. And I had never met a Muslim before, and I was very interested in religion, so we'd meet every Thursday. And it was autumn of 1982, and I was curious about Islam. What was this religion? I didn't have information really about it, so I went and I checked out A.J. Arbery's translation of the Quran. I started reading there in the book aisle, in the Islamic literature section, and I finished it in 3 days. I just finished the whole Quran, read it in English in 3 days, and I believed it. I didn't have any questions about it. I walked away with this book. I can actually not see myself at that time. I was reading Surah Nas at the end and closing the Quran, this English translation of the Quran, and the things that really stuck out to me about this book was it said a lot about heaven and hell, and it said a lot about faith and good deeds. So the two areas that were in tension with each other. Heaven, hell, faith, deeds. I asked her after I read the Quran how she prayed. She was from Iran. She was Shia, and she taught me how she prayed. She told me you had to do like this, like that, and she wrote down the Fatiha. I memorized the Fatiha in Arabic in 2 days. I just memorized the thing, and I began to pray on my own. I had a little stone she gave me from a place called Karbala, and I was supposed to wash like this, and I began to pray 5 times a day. She had a chart from the MSA there, the prayer chart, and I began to pray on my own. After about 2 weeks of praying on my own, 5 prayers a day, and in time, I found there was a mosque on campus. I went there and knocked on the door, and I remember Rashad bin Mansour came down, and Ita Karimi. Rashad was studying engineering, he's from Algeria, and Ita Karimi was studying chemical engineering. As were the people at that time in the 1980s, most of our members of our MSAs were engineers, most of them. Maybe they still are, I don't know. Hope that they've gone into the humanities. It'd be nice if they did. So they had a library there, and I checked out some books. I checked out 2 volumes of his, Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Saviors of Islamic Spirit by Hassan Nedwi, a book on how to pray. I know it was published at, maybe it was a Islam production, I don't know. I don't remember. A transliteration of the Juz, 30 Juz of the Quran, the Arabic and transliteration, English translation. It's a small booklet. And they had a holic on Friday nights, and I started going there. Your typical 1980s MSA kind of thing. And I think what was really important in that nascent period of my Islam, especially from the book by Hassan Nedwi, was when I was growing up, I had this ideally understanding who Jesus was. And I wanted to be a Jesus-like person. I like the idea of wearing sandals. I like the idea of serving people. And I like the idea of being intimate with God and knowing God. And the only person I know like that was Jesus. And of course, it was a Jesus that came through Hollywood also. And Jesus of Christmas time, Jesus of Easter. And I was reading this book by Hassan Nadwi, and I was reading the story. First was Hassan al-Basri, rahimahullah, and he was reading a man who was born in 24 Hijrah age, and he was like Jesus, a Jesus kind of person. And there was Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, the great Umayyad Caliph, the second Omar, and he was very pious, like a Jesus kind of person. And I read more. There was Abdul Qadir Jilani, who was a pseudo, another Jesus kind of person, and Rumi, a Jesus kind of person. And it was like, wow, those are Jesus kind of people in Islam. So I must have, got the jackpot. I found people who were like Jesus in my view of what he should be like. And these were not even companions of the Prophet. So I was very much influenced by this ideal I had of this Jesus figure, and I was finding it in these Islamic personages, these people of Islam. I wasn't finding it in my mosque, of course. That was different. I didn't find it in my mosque, personally. I found a lot of beautiful people, nice people, but not the people in the book I was reading. But I'll just be honest about that. I had a lot of beautiful people, but not the people that necessarily inspired me. But I was a Muslim, and I moved into the mosque, and so this is 1982, 1983 comes along, and so my first year I was not in the mosque, and then the next fall, in August of 83, I moved into the mosque, because it was an apartment then on 22 First Street. Now it's a proper mosque, but then it was a house, like you guys have a house here. On Fraternity Row, across from us, Alpha Chi Rho Fraternity was across from us, very loud, rather rambunctious party fraternity. Oftentimes I was called a camel jockey. It was the first time I was either called a camel jockey or a Hare Krishna. Then that's what they relayed us. You're a camel jockey or you're a Hare Krishna. Now you're just a terrorist or whatever, But things have changed. But then Because I went whole hog, reject America, hate America. I'm not going to be American, so I got a thobe and shalwar kameez and I had a turban, and I was walking on campus. There was this white guy, convert. This is the 1980s. This is not like today. Of course, you don't see it too much today. But this is like no one knew anything about Islam then, or anything. Muslims were just, at that time, just, a bunch of engineering students on campuses, basically, and that's what they did. And they were very aggressive MSA people who were like always trying to defeat Christians by using the Bible against them. That's really what it was. Dawah was always a Bible slam. Bam, you're wrong. This is that. Islam is truth and brotherhood, and all that stuff. And I was a singular Anglo convert in a sea of 35,000 other Anglo people from the Midwest, Bible Belt America, and I was the only convert there. There was some African American brother, and there was a sister. She worked on staff, but I don't know anyone else who embraced Islam. And so I was like this nexal point between the MSA, which is mostly composed of men, because women were always in the basement, literally. They were not members of the committee, because women weren't allowed at MSA at that time to get a national membership or anything like that. It was just men, because women can't have leadership roles apparently. That's what we were taught. And I always thought it strange that women had to go downstairs, back door of the masjid, downstairs, past the washer and dryer of the residence, go back to the cubby room, which was their women's space at the masjid, while the men had all that space upstairs. And my mom came once. I remember my mom came, and she was like, "Why do women have to be in the basement?" And my mom got tired. She came back upstairs. I'm not sitting down there. It's too loud with kids. So my mom came upstairs and sat in the masjid with all the men, and they just sort of didn't say anything. I guess because it's 90s mom, they're not saying anything. But that was after she got over her fear of all these strangers. My parents are very conservative, very Midwestern, very conservative, not used to foreigners around, so they were very hesitant about this group I had fallen into. But that wore off, alhamdulillah. But in my experience at the masjid, and if you were alive then, you'd know there were beautiful people, but the mosque was an environment where very patriarchal. It was, as the mid '80s rolled around, I was still at Purdue. The war in Afghanistan, the Soviet invasion, and so there are issues of Palestine. So many times our mosque, when it came to Jummah khutbahs, things dealt with making. To go make jihad, to support the mujahideen. This is very common dialogue things that were going on in our mosque when it came to discourses. We had brothers there who were very Salafi, from the Saudis and the Kuwaitis, but they were people who I was very close with. But I was also leaning towards, I was very proper according to the books I read. I mentioned that when I first started to pray, I had a little stone from Karbala that I used to make sajda on, but as soon as I got the book on how to pray from the library, I realized the book was saying one thing, and it was Iranian girl telling me another thing. So I'm the kind of person who likes to believe books over people, so I started doing what the book said, and I changed how I prayed. So I got rid of the stone, and I was praying like this in the masjid Allah, where I was very proper, I was very, according to the Quran and Sunnah, how I should be. And I like that because I knew that I was very authentic. I knew that what I was doing was based upon a textual proof. I say that now, then it was a hadith, I would use it in a different language now, but I felt secure in that. But at the same time, I was in this tension because I was also this front person with MSA, especially with Dawah. And I was also this guy at the Dawah table who would have to, I became a very good Bible thumper. I really learned Christianity becoming a Muslim. I really learned Christian theology, this proof text for, especially a Protestant approach towards Christianity. As a Bible kind of person, I really learned from my interaction with MSA as being like a front person for them. I began to, really understand Christianity, to defend Islam, to argue a case against Christian theology, biblical texts, etc. If you're my age, you're a convert, maybe you're also those skilled people for that. But for me personally, it wasn't. As the years, as time went by, 1982, 1983, 1984, 1985, I'm at Purdue. I'm doing my degree. I don't really care about my degree anymore. I'm doing it because I committed myself to it, but I really want to do more Islamic studies. But but honestly, none of the Muslims ever encouraged me to do Islamic studies. By the way, no one ever said to me, "Go to Azhar" or "Go to Syria." No one ever said that at that time. I think it's because they themselves didn't value it, or it wasn't important for them because they were all engineering students, and that was where success was. Success was to become an engineer or a medical doctor, and that was it. And who want to go and study Islamic studies? We don't do it. Why would we encourage you to do it? I mean, that was their mindset, but no one ever did. Amazingly. And I'm leaving out a lot of stuff here in order to cover things tonight, because I know you have children here. I don't want to bore you, and you're probably more interested in what I have to say than about my biography, but so you'll understand who I am and why I made the choices I made.